Sure, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Odd wood flavors. We'll see what happens here.
Odd wood.
Odd wood. Almost ended the stream. That would have been terrible.
That actually would have been hilarious.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
Well, hello. Welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. Tonight, we are in the beginning of our 4th installment of Mitch's Wood Influence series. But this is only part A because we're still drinking 4 whiskeys tonight. And we're going to have to come back to another section because, well, I got to get up tomorrow. So this is our first comparison of odd wood tastings. Now, before we go any further, my good friend Mike, would you like to tell everyone about the Bar Cart Co-op?
You know, I was just thinking I would like nothing more right now than to tell everybody about the Bar Cart Co-op.
That's right. It's enjoyable.
Let's do it. So the Bar Cart Co-op is a collection of friends who create content for the whiskey and other distilled spirits public. Bar Cart Co-op YouTube and Facebook pages have information about upcoming and past special shows, which happen about every quarter, from blind tastings to distiller panels to discussions of special collaborations and the usage of unique grains. Bar Cart Co-op has educational and fun episodes for your enjoyment. Upcoming, there is a show on brandy coming up, I believe, that has the Wallersheim and Iron Root, and then I think it also is doing the Wallersheim rye yeast experiment as another part. So I don't know if that's going to be a 2-parter or one big old long weddling that's going to take place there. So we will find out. And the oldest in the group is Distillers Talk, hosted by Alan Bishop and Christy Atkinson. It's a conversation with people from distilleries and distillery adjacent that gets into the weeds with their interviews. New episodes arrive at the end of the work week. And if that one isn't nerdy enough, there's One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. This is where Alan Bishop answers any questions about distilling and often puts them to the test. It could be individual grains, mash bills, equipment, and methodology. New episodes come out randomly, so subscribe to find out. And the sexiest and silkiest show on the internet, Bourbon Turntable, where they mix the love of music with the love of whiskey. Kevin and Drew have a conversation with musicians, writers, distillery folks, and common folks like us about music and whiskey. It releases every Wednesday on all your platforms, including YouTube. I do not know what the upcoming show is, but if Kevin joins in on the chat, he will fill us in. I am certain of that. Then, and this is good timing for this show, if you have ghosts, you have everything. This is a show about spirits and paranormal among us, as well as the unexplained and the spiritual. Subscribe on Spotify to get all 3 seasons. Right now, they've been doing some very special episodes talking about folklore, tracing some of the histories way back, and then they did a collaborative show with Stephanie McNew, who has the Highly Spirited podcast. And what on God's green earth are you doing up there?
Fucking around.
And we have the newest one in the group, which is Whiskey in My Ring, where he talks to people in the industry and adjacent who David finds interesting. From the unknown to the known, David likes to get into the weeds with his guests. We have lots of weed getting in. Our cart go off.
If we get something like starts
all about the weed.
Have to get a weed whacker for the show.
Some about dealers, but whatever.
So, well, Mitch, thank you for being here. Everyone in the chat, thanks for stopping in. I'm glad to see you here this evening. We're getting set up to get weddled, but Mitch, I'm going to let you start because I have 4 whiskeys in front of me. Where are we starting with this lovely craze? And start off with your thoughts on the odd wood, because
So, first things first, apologies to the champ, aka Adina, that I wasn't here yesterday. I had her cocktail at the event. It was amazing. I watched it on replay. Okay, got that out of the way. So these aren't so much odd woods as they are odd things that they've done to the wood to impart flavors.
okay.
Alrighty.
So we're going to start actually with all of these tonight are Copper and King's brandy. So your base is the traditional just Copper and King's brandy because this is completely aged in used bourbon casks. So you should be able to pick out some flavors from there. Like hint, hint, the grapey notes come from the brandy. But kind of the vanilla, the coconut, and all those other, more common notes that you would get out of bourbon are coming from the barrel. So this is kind of just the get to know what their base product is and what flavors.
You're saying you get the wood influence on the edges. It's not overpowering, but you do get it in there and a little bit of vanilla and almost kind of like a nutmeg barrel note towards the bottom edge of it. Sorry. Sometimes I was too into the glass. What's the proof on this? Because it's
this is the lowest. This will be 90 proof. So everything after this is cask strength.
Well, it still does not, at 90 being 45, doesn't smell like really any alcohol in here. Obviously, the grape notes.
Yeah, that's no slouch.
And a little bit of the rind on the back end, but it's not overpowering, and it's just like a nice fulfill and a little like sugar sweet note kind of through the middle of the nose. Excuse me, everyone. Sorry about that.
There's a note on the nose that reminds me of if you've had any type of fruit pie or baked fruit pastry where if any of the fruit spills out and gets cooked and the sugar caramelizes.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good description of what's going on.
That's your fat guy tasting note for tonight.
Well, you roll into the tasting on that.
I sincerely hope we get more than one tonight.
Yeah,
if we don't, I'm going to be very sad.
Once you take a sip of that, I think you'll feel like that's what it is. It's like a grape Danish, almost on the flavor.
So I find it very interesting because on the nose, I don't get solely grape, right?
Mm-mm.
It is kind of a mixed fruit bag is just kind of the term I'm going to use.
And I'll say for me, there's a little bit of like an apricot-y feel or note to it in there as well, but the grape takes over on the finishing notes as far as what that lingers on with.
Right. So,
okay,
this is kind of a bourbon drinker's brandy, right? Because it is aged solely in ex-bourbon casks. So, yeah, Donald Rance brings up a good point. Method and Madness does some really wild wood finishes. I had some wilder wood finishes, but I drank them. So this one is less wild wood and more wild.
So we're getting your seconds.
Well, I got the first. So, so if y'all could go to CK1, right? We'll go CK1, CK2. And CKW.
She's darker too.
So yes, this one is cask strength, and cask strength is 126 proof. And this is also finished. So it will definitely give you some very interesting flavors. I'm hesitant to tell you what it's finished in because I want to see what you what y'all think and say. But I will say this is so it's a single barrel they sold to a bar and a museum here.
Okay.
So getting a hold of it was a bit of a chore when I was trying to, because I went to the bar to buy it, and they're like, sorry, we don't have a package license. You have to go to our sister bar. They have a package license. You can buy it there. So I went to the sister bar, and they were like, we stopped selling our package license and our serving license is different. So like we will serve till 4 a.m., but our package license ends at like midnight or something like that, right? And I worked second shift, so like getting there before midnight was not easy. So it took like a couple months to actually buy this bottle, despite the fact I really wanted it.
Did they like set it aside for you at least, knowing you were trying to? Oh no.
So it's brandy and bourbon country. They weren't gonna sell out of it immediately. They knew that. I kind of knew that. So it is what it is.
Hold on for a second. I'm gonna go to. That's a weird vapor rub smell. When you put it in the vapor rub, I get a little bit of that mentholy note in my nose. Other than that, that sounds delicious. Other than the minty thing rolled in there, but that sounds
okay. So
yes.
We're working off of the same base.
Absolutely.
There was a little nuttiness on that base that is not there for this one.
Correct.
No, this one gets a little mulled over by. I want to. Part of me wanted to say port at first because you get this.
No.
Earthy kind of damp note, but it is not right because after that I can't hit it, but that note is definitely not port.
You know what it smells like to me? Maybe it's a theme because I admit I've only had 2 things from Copper and Kings before.
I got drunk there.
Grape Pop-Tart filling.
Okay. I can see it's that flatness.
I've never had grape Pop-Tarts.
Well, or you know what? Maybe it's not grape, but maybe they don't. Maybe I'm thinking blueberry Pop-Tarts. Either way, it's purple. I haven't had them in a long time.
So the only Pop-Tarts I've had are strawberry and brown sugar cinnamon because I found my 2 and I was like, I feel no desire to explore. Oh no, I take that back. I had s'mores. And it was so sweet. I immediately got a stomach ache at like 14. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. And then I never touched another one. Sorry.
No, I like it. But like Mike said, there's a purple. It's like a purple flavor, but that's also
purple flavor.
Like grape drink. It's like purple drink. It's
yeah. You are saying things that as a Southerner who has had knee high, right? Like
like
purple is a flavor, just like red and orange.
But there's this earthiness, but like almost like a weird flat soda, like a flat root beer mixed in.
I get what you're saying with the earthiness, but it's so. It's just it's there, but it's not very present. But it's there enough where you're like, it's there.
Or maybe I'm. All right, well, I'll get into the taste because once again,
I haven't tasted either of these yet. I've just been nosing them.
What? What the hell?
How do you get wetted?
How do you get wetted by not drinking?
Okay, give me a break.
Are you fucking this up?
I mean, you should be able to look at them and see the color difference, right? Hopefully.
Yes, very much so. Quite a bit. Yeah.
All right, that is something else. Double barreling, changes the color pretty insanely.
Holy shit. Like the heat is not bad, but you can feel it build up in your mouth as it's going. I wasn't expecting that off of the nose. Feels like it's starting to open up my nostrils a little bit here. A slight numbing on the sides, on the finish. I'm gonna go back to flavors in a minute, but that was a much bigger rush of what is going on than the first one. The first one was like, ooh, this one like layered up right away.
Okay.
It's gonna bug me. You're gonna tell me what this one is. I'm just gonna be baffled until then. I got a little more brown sugar.
Yeah.
Like cinnamon, but more of like a cinnamon raisin brown sugar. Cinnamon raisin toast with brown sugar butter on top.
I like the proof at the beginning of it.
Other notes. Yeah.
But
what is it? Because I feel like this is going to jump on me.
So, I mean, it's 126 proof. So this is the highest proof of all of them by a pretty decent margin. But I really like this one.
Sorry, I was just reading Donald's statement about that.
So did you only get one?
I did, because it was not cheap. And
Mitch is cheap.
I am cheap. I also, it's one of those things that takes me so long to drink through a bottle that it's like, this came out in 2018. It is the end of 2023. I still have 2/3 of this bottle. So like, it'll be around for a little while longer.
The nice thing about that is over time, if you go back in a couple of years, you'll be able to have a neat A/B comparison versus whatever does come out, time-wise. Because was it just heard today that Todd's releasing like an 8-year bourbon? He's like, this is kind of where we really wanted to be, was 8 years rather than the 5. I'm like, well, last time I had it, I think it was 5 or 6. So I'd love to see what it's like at 8, maybe in a finished cask. If that's where your goal was, to be like the base of like, well, this is where we really wanted to start releasing it. So, okay, sorry, back to this one. Mike, what are you getting for flavors on the CK1?
So I like the proof in the beginning. The first sip of it, I wasn't getting much, and I thought I'm just missing out. So going back in a couple times now, I still get that really nice proof in the beginning, but then the proof just goes away. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't. It's proof first, but then it is like cooked fruit and vanilla and a little brown sugar, and then there's like a little powdered sugar. But
yeah,
the finish, it's a light brown sugar, light buttered brown sugar finish that I've got on it.
Okay, what is this one?
So this is actually, so the title of it is Silver Proof 2018. It is their brandy finished in Sierra Nevada cherry chocolate stout barrels.
Really?
What the shit?
Barreled, because they got one. So it's weird, right? You mentioned that there was nuttiness that went away.
Yeah.
So on your palate, chocolate and nuts kind of can get confused. So once the chocolate can come through a little more, it can overwhelm the nuts, or like the nutty flavor of the other one.
You don't want to overwhelm your nuts.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of earthy flavor, or do you? That earthy flavor, right? It's a stout, so it's dark malt.
That's where I was getting the maltiness, but it wasn't as heavy because the brandy kind of really, I would say flavor wise, kind of cut some of the malt. It's in there, but I don't know. Damn.
That's really interesting. I want to have a lot more of this to figure it out tonight, but I'm going to save some when I'm not drinking anything else so I can sit with it.
Once you know the flavors that they're trying to put in there, it makes really good sense, in my opinion.
It's unique. I'm gonna say this: when they do things, how about this? They have one of the most unique and fun barrel experiences when you go through a distillery. When you're looking at stuff, pretty much not all of it, but a vast majority of their warehouse is finished stuff. This is finished in this. This is finished in that. That's over here. This is that. They have main things, but there's a lot of cool projects going on.
Yeah. So when you go there, that's their basement. That's where they're doing a lot of their fun stuff. They have offsite warehousing for, more production.
Well, they believe in that sound reverb too, so there's music going on. Sorry, just gotta mention that.
Sonic aging.
Sonic aging.
Is it a fad? Yes. Does it work? Kind of.
Well, it gets into that. What type of
music? It doesn't not work.
Yeah. 60% of the time it works all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like plants. Music affects plants. So what type of music you play could affect the way things are going. Not to say it does, but there's a possibility.
So, right. Another marketing thing they do is they have their own, I think,
playlist.
Spotify playlist that you can listen to. So you can hear what the barrels are hearing. And they change it. Like if it's Bob Marley's birthday, they play a lot of Bob Marley, and depending on, what distillers are there, if it's one of their favorite musicians, like birthdays or a big album release, they'll play a lot of that. So it's probably very interesting when Alan Bishop worked there, like what the barrels were listening to. But just gonna throw that one out there.
Could be anything. So
Belgian death metal.
I'd give it a shot. Just
very
interesting accent to their screams.
Woo. I just took a whiff of the CK2. Like each of these are
similar but different.
But a different breed. Like you can tell there's a backbone, but what the woody notes, the wood kind of comes through a little bit more. There's not as much chocolate as there was on number 2.
All right,
back to the base here.
I'm an idiot who didn't get enough Glencairns, so I'm gonna run and be back in 20 seconds with more Glencairns.
That's fair,
but I'll be right back.
Well, while he's gone, no. I really that one. That CK1. I definitely want to go back into that with fresh, nothing else going on.
I don't know if it's an all the time thing for me, but it was a nice curveball that I would happily have. I was not expecting that. No.
Yeah. Oh, I dug it, but then once he said what was finished, and I'm like, wow.
I got some of the cherry from and the other one.
So are you comparing CK2 to CK1 now?
I went back to the base, but I was doing 1 to 2. I'm at the base 2 right now.
Okay. Now after smelling this one and then going back to this one, I am 100% getting stout out of this.
Yeah, now it's like this one just has changed my nostrils, my receptors. Yeah, that's totally what I could not get. Now that it's terrible what your mind goes over, but coming back to it, you get that. Man, I should have had that.
And it makes the base, to me, it makes the base way sweeter.
Yeah, sweeter and brighter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The base is tinny and thin after going to this, in my opinion.
And this has this on the edge. There's a little bit there where there's a tannic edge to it on the sides.
Wow.
But that's opening up my nostrils on the side, so it's actually helping me breathe a little better.
It's really, I've been switching the order of going back and nosing these 3, and it's really messing with me. In the CK1, if I go front to back, base, the CK1, whatever, I'm not getting any of those stout notes on it. But if I'm going back from 2 to 1, which again, and we proved this on one of the bark shows in a blind on wheat, because it just, the one we had before just totally ruined what we had next.
Well, it altered things, that's for sure.
Oh, it messed stuff up big time. Something that I happily bought 4 bottles of, and I found myself not liking it.
Right. It would be interesting to be like more scientific about this and like all eat the same thing right before this. Like we all have the same snack. Like we're going to go out and get like Aldi brand Fritos, and we're going to have like several handfuls before we get on here to try and like make our palates the same.
Yeah,
but I had chili and olives for dinner like 20 minutes ago. So like my palate's got to be a little wonky right now.
Well, I know the one guy who makes sake. He has the same breakfast and lunch every day, because he does all his tasting at like 10. Then all of a sudden he does his own thing, but that's the same pattern, and it's hard for him to break it. But he's like, well, how am I supposed to keep a base for what I'm doing? I'm like, respect. Oh, all right, here.
So are you all ready to move on to CK2?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. What's our proof on this?
This one is the next lowest. So this is 107. So it's definitely a step down from 123. But it is still above the 90 that we started with.
Trying to peg the difference now that I've slowed down, and like right away it was such a big difference. Now I'm starting to actually acclimate to it a bit.
Yeah.
This one's not as pronounced for me. Like I'm still getting the base. You can tell there's a finish, but the finish isn't taking hold or center stage.
This one makes me wonder if this is a wine finish. My initial guess is this is a white wine.
I would,
but I don't know.
But there's just
I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch is like, nah, it's a Worcestershire sauce finish or something.
Oh my God! If I had one of those, I'd buy 12 bottles of it.
It's a weird question as to how does that turn out with what you put in it.
It's like the fish ski that Brooke Lottie put out like all those years ago. It's like I want that so badly, but like it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it's my left nostril that's open, not my right one for sure right now.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. A strawberry, there's like a slight strawberry note on the nose.
So I will say this is a wild finish that you will not possibly guess. So I would concentrate less on trying to guess the finish than just trying to pull out, fun and interesting flavors. And then the differences between base and CK1.
That gets a little, at first, kind of like confetti cake. Whoa. The finish, you get like that grape torque. Like on the finish, I had like this.
Yeah.
Like it twisted up a notch there. Holy shit. Okay, it was like a little bit of birthday cake for a second. Not the frosting, but like the cake.
The sprinkles. That's what I was getting.
Yeah, the sprinkles. Like, it's like confetti cake, like.
Yeah.
A little bit of frosting. Like liquid sugar for a split second. Ooh. And then, yeah. And I'm getting more cake on this. I'm getting frosting. A little bit of lemon.
I gotta pour more.
I need to. I'm cleansing first.
But it's not like the cake sprinkles. It's more like if you've had like cake or cake batter flavored ice cream.
That's a good
More
way
than
to do
cake.
it.
Yeah.
Because you're getting that little bit of like a super sweet note at that one point, and a little more ice cream in that, I guess.
So this is finished in a Baskin Robbins 5-gallon tub.
Not quite. It is a unique, one-of-a-kind
Blue
barrel that.
It's finished in a Blue Moon barrel.
No,
Seriously.
it would be probably good if it was finished in Blue Moon, but. So have y'all compared it to the base in CK1 now?
Yeah.
I didn't taste it backwards.
So I will try and blow your minds a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
That's
toasted barrel finished, and it's named Phoenix because they liked the Silverproof 2018 that they did so much. What they did was after the barrel was emptied, they broke it and then used that wood for the fire to toast this barrel.
good God.
So it's Phoenix because it has risen again, right?
That's
So to me, this one is so much sweeter because, well, A, they toasted it to bring out that sweetness, but B, the sugar, like they were burning sugar in the original barrel, and it definitely came through on the smoke and, just residual flavors that they left behind.
But no other finish. No other
Finish. This is a toasted barrel finish, and the barrel was toasted via, the scraps of that old barrel that they set on fire.
That is very interesting.
So it's, in my opinion, it had to have been Independent Stave because they do natural wood charring and toasting. They burn their scraps to, char and toast. So it wouldn't be a hard ask to be like, we would like a toasted barrel, but could you please use these wood scraps to toast it?
Now, what if you had some Lafroig barrel left over or something?
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but in my opinion, if you have a Lafroig barrel, you have a Lafroig barrel.
That's true.
Please use
I mean,
the Lafroig.
sometimes things have seen almost their tail end of use, so you've seen them around.
I get that, but also it's one of those things, right? This was the second use of that barrel, right? It had aged the cherry. Well, it had aged something, and then it aged the cherry chocolate stout, and then it aged the Silverproof rum. So it was the barrel for wood extract was probably spent. You would have just gotten residual flavors after that from whatever had been in it before. So this was probably the best thing you could.
Oh yeah,
do.
Use it
But
at that point.
if you've got a Lafroig barrel that's still imparting Lafroig notes, I would not set it on fire personally.
No. I'm just saying if that's the tail end of its lifespan, I think you could find some use for it.
Oh yeah.
Or charcoal for barbecue. Sorry, I went off topic. I'm sorry, I went off topic. I'm talking about
It's all good.
smoking things with leftover barrels, which I think might be a new way to do some barbecue.
Down here you can buy, bourbon barrel wood chips. Like they're nothing.
Well, are they
they're
are they from real
bougie
bourbon barrels? Or are they the ones where like they're wood chips and people are like, well, I soaked them in this, and as you find out it's like old Thompson or something. So it's not the greatest.
Yeah, some of them are probably that. Some of them actually, like, they don't chip it. They leave it in kind of chunks so you can see the stave shape still in there. And you're like, oh, it was a barrel.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel a little better. I appreciate that.
Could be fun for smoking.
Yeah. Or cheese. You do that, Mike.
I do.
Yeah, I remember that.
I need to. I got to do that again now that it's getting cold out. It's cheese smoking weather.
It's crazy.
First frost of the year tonight in Louisville
Yeah.
/ Wisconsin. We don't. Yeah, good luck.
Well, it's not going to be that way now.
We're going to have like 33 degrees for trick-or-treaters tomorrow. It's going to be funny.
All the hoes will have to put on clothes. It's so sad.
They won't, though. Have you seen the hose? They don't care. It doesn't affect them.
I've never done anything for Halloween, so I just say that. Whatever.
Well, like Mike said, tomorrow it's going to be a bunch of kids running from house to house because they can't feel their fingers or toes. So
Yeah.
A lot of parents in cars.
Yeah, we get a lot of that anyway.
What?
After hours.
That's lazy as
Yeah.
shit.
I call them the truck-or-treaters. They come in and they'll sometimes when the weather's nice, we'll have them past 10 o'clock. Our lights will be out. They'll come to the door anyway. Well, it's a sign on the door that says, "We're out. See you next year." They'll beat on the door. It's like, you know what? You guys are using so much gas. Everything is already 75% off at CVS right now. Just go down to CVS. It's cheaper than paying for the gas and driving around. Whatever. Anyway.
You're losing the fun of being able to pound on someone's door.
Not even in a costume either. That's the other thing.
Oh, okay. Well, come on now. Give me a little something. Gotta do something. All right. So, CKW. Maybe a wine finish? Oh. This one's bright comparatively. Hold on here. Let me go back.
I had
Woo!
an
Number two
insider.
on my note.
An insider just texted me
What?
that and asked without soliciting and said, saying, "Oh, is that the Phoenix?" And that chocolate cherry stout was one of the last set of barrels that he filled.
Mm-hmm. That chocolate cherry stout's effing outstanding. So I am still mad because there was one that they talked about that I was like, because I go on a tour there like once, twice a year, right? Because it's not like there's major changes that you're like, I've got to go see it again. And they were talking about their finishes, and they said they had a Westland peated malt that they were finishing in.
Oh.
I was like, okay, cool. When's that going to be ready? Because I'm going to be here. And they're like, it's finishing. It's ready when it's ready. So I went back a little while later, and I was like, y'all still have that Westland peated malt? And they're like, no, that sold out instantly. And I was like, God, shit. Crap.
I swear, though, I mean, just the stuff I see between Copper and Kings and Starlight, they buy everybody's used barrels. It's like anybody who's got a used barrel of something, or a barrel that they've exhausted it, or maybe not. They're just putting everything. Coca-Cola barrel, you got it, check. Fanta orange, yep, got a Fanta orange finish. Yep, we're good.
I mean,
You're surprised what the acidity does to the barrel with a Fanta thing.
you can't put something that toxic in a barrel and then put whiskey in it. Come on now.
Well, it's just in there for a couple minutes,
Okay.
So this one is, and now for something completely different, right? Like the first two, very obviously related. This one is not cherry chocolate stout or a barrel, toasted by setting that barrel on fire.
Brighter, almost like a effervescent grape. This is like a black grape.
Also, this one is 111 proof, so it's a slight step up from the Phoenix.
It's like a black cherry note here.
111.
111.
Wow,
Making all my notes.
that's good.
You're so good at notes. That was something in school I never got good at.
Freehanded it.
No, I
If I did write notes, I could remember the pages I wrote stuff on. I might not remember it, but I can remember the page and just like hold it like, okay, this was above it. Okay, there we go.
So I used to just be able to remember things. So
Hell
like
is
when my
this?
teachers talked, I just remembered it, and then I'd never take notes, and then like I'd ace the test. And then now that I'm old and have had COVID and all that fun stuff, it's like people will be like, "Hey, I'm Charles," and I'll be like, "Hey, Charles, it's nice to meet you." And then 25 seconds later, I'll be like, "Hey, I'm Mitch. Who are you again?" And they're like, "I introduced myself to you like 4 sentences ago," and I'll be like, that's gone.
This sweetens up the base even more to me. The base is
It
just
makes it fragrant.
straight up. Oh yeah, and fragrant and butter pastry too.
As a base, but this is almost feels like there's like elderflower, like flower, not berry, mixed in it. There's almost, but not like it's over the top on it. Just smells like it's mixed in nicely.
So this one is definitely changed because this was one of the first kind of batch of finishes I bought. So this is 5-6 years old. And when I first got it, strongly disliked it. Now it's opened up. It only took years.
Okay, first hit on this one on the taste, I was like, "That's grape drink." that's almost elf grape pop right there. I'm all messed up.
I told you
That's
it's like
the fun
a
part.
grape.
This isn't like, adding, removing, or changing flavors where there's like a definitive progression and you can like really think. This is just weird things, right? That not everyone does. Wow. This is creating odd flavors in unique ways.
I'm having a hard time processing all the weird stuff going on at this moment. Give me a second here. I will try to compose myself. Note taker, you might need to step in here.
I'd be taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking notes, and I'm reading some notes that are coming in.
I'm feeling like a darker grape, to be honest with you. It feels like a red or almost like a black grape, and just like a richer, bolder almost feel to it. Go ahead. Sorry, Mike. Yes.
Oh, I don't feel like it's richer grape at all. I feel like this is just a basic, like if they said these are finished in Mogan David barrels.
What's Mogan David?
Mogan David. Oh, well, you're a lot younger than I am.
I also didn't drink until I was 21. Like that was my first beer, and like I didn't really drink until I was like 24. So
back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, there was a lot of advertising for Parmesan wine.
Mm-hmm.
That was Orson Welles, and then Mogan David. I don't know who did Mogan David. It was all cheap wine.
Dog barking in the background.
Nope.
I'm here.
Okay, thank God. Sorry. His
good.
buddy just came home, so he's very excited.
I get what you mean. I don't know.
So when I first got this, it was not what I wanted. It is developed in this, in my opinion, lovely floral balance. But this is Copper and Kings finished in Lonesome Dove Belgian style triple barrel. Belgian style triple ale. So when I first got it, it was super yeasty. And that yeast has finally calmed down, and
I don't know, man. It feels like I'm chewing on something at the end here. Like I'm salivating, but it feels thick, chewy.
Also, Pat, yeah, I was there when they did that, and I was like, why the hell are y'all doing that? Isn't that leaking like crazy? And they were like, yes. I was like, Why?
Trying to double up on it.
So cool. What do you think?
I've got there's some fresh snickerdoodles being made, so I'm going to pair this with a fresh snickerdoodle.
Son of a gun.
You're so
Margaret,
cooling.
you need to make them for everybody.
Well, she can make them for you, but you're not going to get it.
Well, not right now. I could.
What, does he want me to make him cookies?
Oh yeah, he's begging for cookies now.
Then I'll teach him how to make them.
Oh, she said if she ever sees you, she'll teach you how to make them.
Oh, bring her with.
All right. Huh? He said I can bring you up there.
Well, you're only going to go up there anyway.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. That was good.
Is it good though?
Oh yeah, they're good.
Okay.
Good
I'm
cookies.
going to bring them down.
Okay.
I like Margaret inventions. I like that.
We haven't. We haven't. So for Halloween, we've been doing this tradition for the last I don't know how many years now. There's like 4 or 5 houses that we'll get together on the end of the block, and we pick one house and we sit in the front yard with a fire pit and we line up all the bowls and everybody brings soup and sits around and has beverages. And when the kids come up, it's like, hey, it's over there. And then that's it. Yeah, we sit around and do that. So she's making cookies to take to that. So.
I like your block. I wish my block was friendlier.
That's pretty good. It's like our block's a lot like a small town. It really is.
That's nice. I
Now that I've got cinnamon and cinnamon and sugar in me, and cream of tartar.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you, not my favorite, this one. It's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know. Some of it a little still too sharp. Maybe a little malty, too much for me. I don't know. I think the other ones were more in my wheelhouse.
All right. You want to hear some information regarding the other ones?
sure.
Okay. So this came from a reliable source.
Are you sure about that?
Huh? Oh, I have no doubt that the source is reliable, but in the event that that they come on the show, the Phoenix was made from some not high quality sherry butter that the owner made him put apple brandy in. Did not turn out well, and then got blended into Floodwall apple brandy. The barrels were so expensive that they did not want to let them go, so then that's where the Phoenix came up. And 50% of the brandy in those blends was Thompson Seedless 4-year-old from Christian Brothers, and some South African brandy.
South Africa. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Nope.
Sorry, I didn't know. I know
Oh,
they-
not sherry butter, sherry butts made from really, really not good sherry butts. Sorry.
So yeah,
Or sherry butter.
they put out Geography, which was like their brandy blended with South African brandy. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I-
And then
I
also
remember
the chocolate cherry stout being the last set of barrels that was filled there. The chocolate cherry cask was full of what became the mash bill for Lee Sinclair. Had 5 to 6 gallons of the beer from Lee's in that barrel, which was not called Lee at the time. It was just a 4-grain bourbon, and was then, to my knowledge, all sold. Maybe not all sold out, but definitely sold out to somebody who bought it, and they were selling it earlier this year or late last year Do you remember this, Pat? And they put it out. There's like this 4-grain bourbon, blah blah blah, and then they listed the mash bill, and it's like that's a familiar mash bill. And it's someone on the East Coast that they bought it, and they were selling it for a couple $100 a bottle, I think.
Yeah.
And then,
I do remember that. But hey, if you can do that to people, I guess so. Not my style, but sure. Oh, all right here.
So I just think that this last one is very interesting, right? Because a Belgian triple is like a very strong kind of alcohol and yeast forward beer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that does. it stays.
Yeah, I can see how you're saying
Yeah.
the yeast is probably a bit, or I'm saying part of the sharpish, and I can see how if it took that long to change that, it would be it could be a while if even it did. It's interesting though. I'm glad that happens because I've had one or two that have shifted, so it's neat to see that happen to some other stuff. You know, you don't want to be the only one that has a flavor shift.
all right, that cookie brought out a lot more flavor in that one
Wow.
that I wasn't getting.
I would think so. What did it bring out?
Well, it was a minimal that what I was getting. I was getting like I was getting the floral fruity, but it was light. But then I was getting the fruit that I was getting off of it was kind of artificially, kind
I
of
can get that.
yeah. And then, but then I had that cookie, and now it's more. It tastes more like good fruit, good floral. That's very interesting. I'm going to pour more of this. I'm going to say, because I want to have this all by itself. So I'm going to be very careful because I did like those beer back when I used to drink beer.
I think I'm
a
really
big
enjoying
beer. Oh, sorry.
the blend on the nose. Hey, Tim, good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big Belgian beer fan, and like I had just kind of recently gone to Copper and Kings, so I went to Total Wine, and they had like 4 or 5 finishes, and I was like, "Hells to the yeah!" Like I'm gonna pick these up. They were, $40-ish a piece, and it's like single barrel, unique finishes. I was like, I am all about this for $40.
Whoa. The blend I have is pretty even, and I
All
like
right,
the
hold
blend.
on.
Come on, baby. The blend is pretty good. That's a nice ride. Rounded.
Well, given that it's the same
Full-bodied.
base, little tiny bits of changes to it would be.
Oh, yeah, but even.
Well, we're assuming it's the exact same base.
It's supposed to be.
Don't put doubt in my head.
I like the nose on the blend. I was really last night, well, especially yesterday, because it turned cold on us,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really craving some apple brandy last night. And I was just thinking, like, even taking some apple brandy and using that and making a hot apple cider and putting some of that in there.
See, that's yeah, that's what Gavin. When we had Richard on last year, we made that. It wasn't a hot toddy, but it was something very similar to it that had a cinnamon stick in it. And Gavin requests that minus the alcohol quite frequently anytime it's cold out. It was like a buttered cider or something, and it was fucking delicious. So.
Knee deep in the snickerdoodles already.
It's all good to see you. But I don't know here. Okay, so this
Well,
is.
that's it. That is interesting. That's it.
Say
The blend is interesting. No, it's
Yeah.
not bad. There's a very interesting mouthfeel and finish to it.
the maltiness of the W kind of goes away. The stout kind of stomps on that a bit. The little sharp note from 2 is gone. I got it flattened out.
It does bring out the stout, and what it reminds me. See, our big local brewery is Boulevard, which I don't know if they have it. You guys have it around your areas, but it was a raspberry chocolate stout, and it was like, I'll have beer like that sometimes, but I just can't have that much of it. It was a lot to have. It was an extremely rich dessert. This reminds me of that a little bit in the finish of that, because it's a creamy and chocolate, and then there's like a little fruit finish on the end of it.
Fruit finish. And not frosting, like the cream cheese frosting on this is what I'm getting out of the blend.
Yeah, but not that shitty
No.
tart cream cheese frosting.
No, but
Yeah,
still.
the good stuff. Yeah, because I as a man of size, I have my taste in frostings, and a sugar cream frosting can be good when you're not just throwing a bunch of sugar in it, but
yeah,
traditional frosting.
There's a balance to
cream
the
cheese frosting. You can almost smell a bad
Oh
cream
my
cheese
God.
frosting from a mile away.
That, and it's when someone goes too thick on it. It's just
Yeah.
Sorry. Sometimes it's just enough frosting is a nice coating.
Oh yeah, you don't need a whole lot.
Like we broke off into a fucking baking show for a second.
You don't need a lot of frosting. I disagree. You need a lot of frosting. You don't need decoration level of frosting.
No, you need the
very
frosting,
solid
but
layer.
there's a balance to it. When you're doing it so much,
and I like a lot. That's the balance.
Yeah, when you take a piece of cake and part of the frosting literally falls off because it was put on as an afterthought, and it's a different consistency than the rest of it, it's not worth eating. I mean, I'll probably eat it anyway, but it's not relevant to the cake. It's a visual thing.
Yeah, I'm not a decoration frosting person. It's
nah.
I never wanted the flowers in the corner that were all frosting and people would fight over them. Like, no,
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll take an edge.
One of the reasons Morgan and I get along. She loves them. I'm like 100% you.
Dude, you need to be like that with people where you fill the gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is we both like bourbon and
100% Costco cakes.
oh yeah. 100%.
If someone shows up and like, oh, I got the cake, Costco, I'm in. I don't care what flavor it is. I'm in.
So if you ask, you can do the like vanilla cake or the vanilla cheesecake frosting on the chocolate cake. And whew, that's the way to go. Let me tell you.
I'm going to order a cake.
Because I do that every time now. It's just like, okay, you fill out the paper, which is hilarious at this day.
It's your birthday again?
It's to me amazing that in this day and age, like the way you order a cake is you handwrite a piece of paper, you drop it in a box, and then you hear zero things about it until you are supposed to go there and get it. And it's just like, is it good? Like, am I still good? It's ready? And they're like, did you drop it in the box? It's like, yes, then it will be ready. Right? There's no emails. There's no like text confirmation. It's just like, no. The paper is sacred. It will be ready.
And I got to tell you,
seriously.
There's been more times than I could think of that I've been walking by the bakery area at the grocery store and someone is there and they're pissed because their cake isn't ready. But I don't know if that's ever happened at Costco.
So,
and if it has, they probably whipped one up pretty quick.
It's happened to me where I went and like it wasn't there, and I was like, "Hey, like I ordered a cake to be ready at like noon, and it was like 12:30, and I was like, I don't see it in the fridge. Last name Weddle." And they were like, "Yeah, I remember you. You were the guy who wanted chocolate cake with vanilla icing." And I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And they're like, "Yeah, I made that. That was really," and they went over there and they're like, "Someone took your cake." And I was like, I mean, can I get another one? Like, no offense. And they're like, I mean, we'll have to make it. Like, it's not ready because it's chocolate cake with vanilla icing. So we've got to, icing it and all that. And I was like, that's cool. Like, how long does it take? Because I got to leave in like an hour for work. And they were like, it'll be ready. I was like, okay, cool. I'll be back. So I did like my Costco shopping and came back, and they were like, this has been ready for a while, sir. And I was like, oh, well, sorry about that.
Pardon me. That'd be really, yeah. It's very interesting. I wouldn't mind going to that place. I've not done a lot of tours.
The tasting is neat as far as most people who don't step into brandy. Plus, their Butcher Town is nice, and I forgot they had some finished Butcher Town when Mitch and I were there. But I don't know. There was. Oh, go ahead.
They have like 8 single barrels at any time. And it's a mixture of like gin, absinthe, brandy, just whatever they make. So.
Oh my God. That sounds delicious right now.
Amanda is a baker friend that she buys baked goods from that make me fatter than I already am.
Oh, well, you got to support your friends,
Especially if they make cake pops for my birthday. They were very good.
So, all right. I think I'm going to go back to number 1 here because.
I'm going back. I'm going to go back through everything. I did as it's going. I like that blend.
Yeah.
I like it.
It tamed out some of the things that were on the edges for me between the other ones. So neat. But I'm going to go back to 1 for this one. And we're gonna have to do this again because there's still 3 more to go through, right?
3 more.
There's a whole nother show about odd wood.
Odd flavors from
odd flavors. Well, odd flavors from the wood. There's some neat twists on that, but I think it was the brandy, because a lot of times when I have brandy now, it's apple brandy rather than brandy. So it's a little textural difference, and like your little difference on the nose too, as far as like what you're looking for. So, but I'm back to 1. That's awesome. Let's go.
One got real metallic.
I'm not going back for that. Then I don't want to Jameson anything.
It's almost Jameson level metallic. And honestly,
I don't want to Jameson anything, and don't do that.
So there is a bar here in Louisville called the Pearl, and they're the people who sell the Silverproof 2018, the CK1. I don't know if they still have any of it because I haven't been there in a minute because like COVID and all that fun stuff. But when I went there, I want to say it was only like $5 or $10 a shot for that stuff. And also it only comes in shots. Like if you're like, I'll have this neat, there's no like fancy way of getting that. It's a shot glass there. That is what you're getting.
I think that's the way it was intended.
So their sister bar is the Silver Dollar, which is like,
oh yeah, we went there.
Yeah, that's normally rated one of the like top 10, like bourbon bars in the country, but on like whatever list. And it's hilarious to like everything comes in a Glencairn to, this is a shot glass that's been dropped like 9 times. That's you, man.
At least they make you question your choices.
I'll have to you have to check that out because I had fun being a tourist the last time that I was in town there, so I want to do that again.
Mike was like, I'm coming down early, I can visit your bar, and it was like, we're leaving for Frankfurt because we don't want to drive.
That's back. All right. Well, I mean, that's fine. We had fun touring stuff, so that was good. It was a good time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So, all right, fellas, I think we'll hop off. We'll do another show where we finish up the next set of 3 on odd flavors. Mike's still getting slapped around left.
Oh no, I went back through, went back up the chain, and just went successively, and I just had one little sip of water in there, and the last one, number 4, it got real fruity and floral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that jumps out like that.
Yeah. So depending on where you put that in the list, it can be super yeasty and like very beery, and you're like, this is a weird thing. Or if you drink the right thing before it, you're like, this is elderflower and like hints of rose and like very fruity and not like grapefruity, just like
it's the
smoothie
elderflower.
fruity.
That's a dead hit on that one because, like I said, not the berry because I've had elderberry on some alpaca and stuff, but it's definitely the flower on that. That's a neat one. I wouldn't have gone down that road. Well, thanks for stopping in, Todd. Good to see you too. So, all right. I think we'll hop off now. If you've got something else to do, remember, go stop over at Whiskey Crusaders. Their show probably started just about 5 minutes ago. It's always good to check them out and see what's going on. What?
Oh, I'm getting the lowdown. The cookie dough has been made into balls and it's going into the deep freeze.
I already baked it.
Fuck yeah. Tell her I want to give her a hug from here. Tell her thanks.
They're already baked.
So yeah, you'll get cookies some point.
No, I already baked.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed.
All right. Okay.
What is he saying?
Huh? Nothing. I'll talk to you later.
Talk about cookies again.
No, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're-
Okay.
So,
We're going to talk about cookies now.
Mr.
Welcome to Cookie Talk.
We might as well.
I don't have a problem.
Why shouldn't we do a
side
cookie
show?
and whiskey pairing?
You know what? We need to do cookie dough and whiskey.
Cookie dough.
Cookie
I
dough and
haven't
whiskey is
done.
so much better than
I
cookie.
haven't done the Girl Scout cookies with you guys. I did one long before anyone came on the show.
I'm all for supporting that. That's all a great cause, whatever.
But
You can get a lot of them at Aldi.
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Or
Well, I'm saying
like
we
a
can
buck and
do
change.
anything.
Yeah. Prices didn't go up too much at Aldi.
That is weird how that is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They went up a lot though. They're like $1.50 now, and when I started shopping there, they were 89 cents, and that was like
yeah, but
5
that's
years
still
ago. So like that's 100% increase nearly in 5 years.
Like $5 and you get
that's
10
still a
cookies.
little easier than the other ones. But I always like the caramel delights, which have had more than multiple names over the years. Those pair really well with whiskey.
Hell yeah. Yes, they do. So yeah, I think we can fit one of those in. So all
I was
right.
gonna say, Pat. So this Copper and Kings, I want to say, is from like 2015, 2016. So it would not surprise me if it was like Muscat from back in the day.
Very well could be. Interesting. Oh, and heck, when Mike comes to town in December, if you're going to be in Green Bay for the Kansas City game, we'll let you know what will be. There's going to be a little tasting we'll have for you to try some Kansas City whiskey and some Edel brand versus some Wisconsin competition because, who doesn't want 2 shots at a Packer game? They won't be full shots. Just to preface that, just to not to get people scared at the Packer Stadium that you're just
could do an unofficial thing of blind tasting, and whichever state wins, then that's the prediction for the winner of the game.
That is kind of where I was aiming for.
Yeah.
But a bourbon versus bourbon, rye versus rye, a little brandy versus brandy. Give people their choice. It's Wisconsin. They'll drink all of it.
Yeah, let's face it.
They'll drink all of it. So let's keep you up to date on that. But stop in next week where we'll have another wonderful show. I think probably if you guys are good, we'll knock out the next section here. We'll do the next 3. I don't even want to give away what they are, but we'll get done with this and then we'll head that.
We don't even really know what they are.
I don't know what
You're welcome to say the names I put on there, and they can really try and figure it out.
Okay.
4 rye and brew.
Yep. That's what we got. Slowly, just little misleading, but we'll figure it out.
They're
little vague.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it told me exactly what they are.
Well,
That's it. It just has to tell you. We don't care.
Yeah, I was like, do you want to break this up or do you want us to get hammered? Take your
Yeah.
pick.
We ain't picky.
You're not-
And then the week after is or should be the maybe the old fashioned throwdown.
Oh yeah, I like that idea. I think I can
Yeah.
handle that. The Wisconsin versus the California Golden Beaver Old Fashioned
Yeah.
smoked, right? We'll put out the details for you. So if you don't have it, you can try to create something similar at home. You know what? What are you mumbling? What is
What?
the fuck is all
I
that?
was not saying I was going to accidentally burn my house down with a cocktail smoker.
We're gonna watch Mitch do it. We're gonna get Morgan to have the other camera, so
This will
Yeah.
be evidence at the insurance hearing.
for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Behind him. Run, guys, run!
Morgan's just going to be standing there with a bucket of water to dump on his head.
I'm only setting in front of a bomb, so
A controlled bomb.
hopefully,
That was sharp.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, you know.
Yeah. Well, you gotta see what happens to let it off. So, I think we'll be all right. So stop in next week. We're gonna finish this series, and we're gonna Mitch's whole wood series. It was a wonderful trip. There's a lot of information. If you haven't seen it, stop back and see the 1 through 3 on them. We're gonna finish off 4 next week, and then we'll be on to some tastings. Ryan maybe will be on coming up, and there's 2 or 3 other guests as well too. But remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
cheers.
Cheers.
What?